Hello, everyone. This is Jake McKenzie. We're back with Pad Level. I am speaking to you on a Sunday afternoon, October 19th. You will be listening to this most likely on October 20th. So whether you are starting your week off with Pad Level, whether you're ending your Monday with Pad Level, whether you're joining Pad Level with what you're doing during the day, work or whatever that may be, I greatly appreciate it. And I've enjoyed doing this, and it's been a whole lot of fun. It's always fun to follow the sport, but then to talk about it with people who also want to, talk about it and interact and watch and all that stuff is greatly appreciated. I hope you know that. And so, that being said, if you are one of those people who is enjoying it and you're really liking it, subscribe on YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube. Follow on Spotify. Rate on Spotify. Comment on YouTube and Spotify. I'm even putting stuff on TikTok. Little clips. Right? TikTok. Comment on TikTok. Like on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. All right? That's what it's all about. We're coming together. We're all talking. We're all talking about some ball and opinions out there. Now, we're going to be respectful, obviously, as we can be. But more opinions, the more conversation, the more fun it's going to be. And I greatly appreciate everybody who's done that and who will do that in the future. I greatly appreciate it. Now, with all that being said, the more subscriptions, the more likes and follows and rates we get, obviously the more this show will go, the better it'll be. And kind of what I would like to end up doing is, get some merch out there or get some, do some different things. I don't know exactly what those things are, but doing some different things where, maybe we do some episodes in different places or, whatever the case may be. The more subscription stuff we get, the more that'll be possible. So, I would greatly appreciate it. I urge you, subscribe, follow, rate, comment, watch, and if you know some other people who want to talk about the game and want to listen, tell them to come watch and listen. They may think it's crap. I don't know. They may think it's great. Who knows? Never know until they watch it. So I greatly appreciate you, and I love to keep this thing going and keep it growing. So, and it's methodically moving, and so I greatly appreciate it. And let's keep this thing going a little bit. So, another great Saturday, Friday. Another great week of college football. Another great week of college football, and we're gonna jump into it. The great thing about yesterday and Friday night is there's no adversity. The last 2 or 3 weeks, I come on here and said, man, had to fight some adversity, had to do this, had to do that. It really wasn't that much this Saturday. It was just the smallest amount, but not enough to even worry about because I got to see as much as I wanted to see. I want to see as much as possible, but, want to see as much as I can. But I got to see a whole lot. And so I cannot complain one bit about it. And so I got to watch a bunch. And that's obviously what we want. It was awesome. So this is how we're going to go. We're going to jump to some games. We're going to start with Friday. With the big one on Friday is Louisville versus Miami. My number one team in the Jake poll. So I kind of got, I got embarrassed on live TV, basically. Miami has Louisville at home. Louisville already felt pretty good about them already. I knew they were a good football team. But I watched this game pretty closely. I watched it basically from wire to wire. And, I've got some notes written down. Louisville is physical as can be. They matched up with Miami in every single way. Louisville has a couple playmakers who are absolutely elite. I want to start with the receiver, Chris Bell. They put the ball in his hands, and he's gonna have an explosive play. Don't give him any room, because he's gonna have an explosive play. All right. The running back, Isaac Brown, that cat is elite. I'm sorry, Juke is making way too much noise here. I'm sorry. So if you hear something back there, he's growling at the TV, and he's yawning and all this stuff. So I'm sorry. Now back to the game. Louisville, super physical. All right. Their first drive, they go right down the field. Okay? They go right down the field, and they go get down inside the 5. They got a 4th and 1 or 2. They fake a field goal. The old hold or kicker option, right? There was really only one guy to be with both. Had a guy on the pitch man, nobody on the quarterback in this scenario. And so he runs, he gets tackled at the 1, they end up scoring. Louisville goes up 14-0. All right, they go and score again, hold Miami, they go score again, so it's 14-0 hole. Now, the final score is 24-21. That's the thing, Miami, if they would have started a little better, they probably wouldn't have lost the game. But here's the big part about it is Carson Beck threw 4 interceptions in the game. Threw 4 all throughout the game, and then the biggest, they're all big, but at the very end of the game, they might have been in field goal range. They were close to it if they weren't. And so they're trying, and there's like 8 seconds left. And they had just gotten the first down, I believe. And Beck's throwing out a little flat route. And Louisville brings a pressure. I forget, it's safety or nickelback. Somebody runs out there with the flat route, undercuts it, and picks it off a phenomenal, basically fingertip catch. And Louisville just takes a couple knees and wins it. So, I mean, the game was back and forth. Louisville forced some turnovers. We got to see Carson Beck. He was under duress a decent amount. At least I could tell it was bothering him. It was bothering him after it was in their late second quarter or in the third quarter. I noticed it was really, really bothering him. And he was kind of happy feet back there. He still made some plays after that, but he was happy feet back there, and he's trying to get the ball out quick, and he's rushed with a lot of stuff. And you could tell it was getting to him. All right. So Louisville, I think, played all 3 quarterbacks in some capacity. Now the other 2 quarterbacks are more running the ball. Miller Moss is their guy, but they're doing a lot of stuff with multiple quarterbacks in the game. Wildcat. I mean, they were doing a lot of stuff early, and they came off a bye, so they had a little time to get prepared, to get some stuff prepared. All right. And here's the thing. I think I saw it twice in this game, and you see it pretty often. Coaches are freaking just crazy over this stuff. It's a 3rd down and whatever, 2nd down and whatever. Whether it's a run or a lot of times it's a pass. Receiver catches it, and they're maybe 1 or 2 yards away from the first down marker. There's a defender coming up to go make the play, and instead of the ball carrier just trying to, getting vertical and trying to go get a first down, they try to dance or try to make him miss, and instead of them either getting the first down or being right there inches away, they try to make a move, and they end up either going backwards or, they're 2 yards short instead of 2 inches short, or they get it. It drives me insane. All right. Now, for Miami, there is a freshman receiver, mentioned him before, Malachi Tony. He's number 10. Freshman. He's supposed to be a senior in high school. He reclassified to be in this class, recruiting class. He is a dude, as good as it gets. He can go and catch every ball. He's running the ball on jet sweeps. He threw a 2-point conversion complete, and the guy was not wide open. And this is on the run too. He's on the run. He's on the run, and the Louisville defender's basically on the receiver's back, and he pins it right there on his chest, and so he catches it, and the Louisville guy tries to come in and get it, and he threw the 2-point conversion. This guy can do everything, and not only that. There was a play. Miami was kind of backed up, maybe inside their 10 or 15, and they motion Malachi Tony in, and then he goes and crushes the linebacker. Crush, or I think we used crush we used crush for that. We used load if it was a running back, whatever. Anyway, he's going to go block the linebacker, play side linebacker on this play, and he buries him. It may end up being a safety. Safety rolls down, whatever. He buries him, boom, into the line of scrimmage, flatbacks him. All right, and then now he stood over him a little bit. I don't love that, but Malachi Tony's not a big guy. He's explosive. He's not a big guy. He goes down and he just crushes the guy, flatbacks him. All right, gets up, gets a little taunting penalty, but I was super impressed by that, because especially a freshman who is that big of a playmaker with the ball in his hands, and then he'll go and go block like that. Impressive, super impressive. I love it. Those are the kind of guys I like to watch and I like to root for. I mean, the kid's a playmaker. And I love the way he plays hard, and as explosive as it gets. Okay. Yeah, okay. There was one play I thought was a bad call on a blindside block. They pick a ball off, and then there is I think it's a pick. The ball's picked off. And then there was a block coming from somebody else for Louisville. Blindside or whatever, and he basically just runs in front and the guy trips or something, and they called the blindside block. It was just not a good call. It's one of those where the ref sees the Louisville guy going back against the green, and he sees a Miami guy fall, and he just assumed it was a blindside block, and he hammered him. He did not. He really missed him. Okay, really missed him. Okay. Anyway, had a couple more punt returners catching the ball inside the 10. And it's not the only game, and it's not going to be the only game. It's every freaking game it seems like it happens. Okay? Now, I mean, Louisville is obviously got my respect. They had my respect before. Jeff Brom's a heck of a coach. Louisville's got my respect now. I mean, they not only because they won, because of how they won, they were just more physical than Miami, and Miami was more physical than everybody else they had played up to this point. So Louisville has got my respect. I mean, they had great performance. As that game was going on, starting a little bit later was Nebraska and Minnesota. Dylan Raiola with Nebraska playing Minnesota. Minnesota got after them. 24-6 was the final. Minnesota dominated the game. Running on them. Were able to pass on them. Nebraska's offense couldn't do anything. Dylan Raiola was running for his life. Now, there was one play where he was running for his life, Dylan Raiola, and he made a very Patrick Mahomes-esque play. Patrick Mahomes is the person that he basically imitates with everything he does. Everything he does. And then this play was actually something Patrick Mahomes probably, if he hadn't done, could do. Falling to the ground. He's basically parallel, about a foot or less off the ground, tosses it up basically over his head, completion, first down. I mean, unbelievable. It was a really incredible play. Yeah, same thing here. I mean, we just talked about the punt returners. Punt returner there for Nebraska catches a punt. And it's like he knew he was going to do it before. He caught the ball, boom, and he runs backwards immediately, right? Catches a punt, boom, runs backwards to try to go make a play. And gets tackled inside the 5 or like the 8 or 6 or something, right? Just not smart. These punt returners, and it's not all punt returners, but as a whole, these punt returners got to be smarter, because this hidden yardage can kill you. It can kill you in a football game. Got to be smart with the ball. All right? And really, the last couple points I've gotten to kind of go together. So Nebraska's defense was struggling. Minnesota was able to move the ball on them. PJ Fleck's rowing the boat there in Minnesota. They're moving the ball really well. And Nebraska just couldn't start. I mean, couldn't stop them. Couldn't stop them, you know. So huge win for Minnesota. Nebraska was hoping to, they're trying to, you know, playoff was kind of what they wanted to do there with Matt Rule. Year 3, this is the year. It really hurts them. That loss right there really hurts them. Because they've been playing with fire the last few weeks, winning by 3 or 4 or 7 or whatever, having to come back and win against teams that were, you know, inferior to them. And it finally bit them on the road. All right. So great for Minnesota. Nebraska's, if they want to have a shot, they got to win out now to get in the playoff. Got to win out. All right. And then people were talking about, you know, who's going to be the Penn State head coach. Matt Rule's a name. He shouldn't go. But does that make him want to go more? I don't know. One of the games on Friday, San Jose State, Utah State. Really fun game, back and forth. All right, Utah State ends up coming up to win the game in the end. A fun game to watch. The late game, North Carolina goes to Cal. Cal goes right down the field and scores first. UNC goes right down and scores right after. UNC stayed in the game. Our defense kept them in the game. It was 21-18. UNC lost. But at least they showed a little bit of life against a Power 4 opponent. That's what everybody wants to see, at least now after the start they've had. They've actually shown it. Now, they still are not going to be as good as people want them to be in Chapel Hill, but they showed some life. And that's positive for Bill Belichick because he's under some freaking fire right now. He's under fire. Okay? Good for UNC. Not good enough, obviously. Cal's quarterback, all right, JKS they call him because he got a super long last name, Sangalapulatela, I don't know what it is, okay? Cal's linebacker number 0, Uluava, I think it is, stud, really good player, okay? And so is Cal's running back, De Jesus, very good player. But the thing is, even with these guys that Cal has, UNC stayed in the game. And not only that, UNC, towards the end of the game, they're going in to score. They're on like the 1. They're going in to score. The ball gets punched out for a touchback, and Cal gets it back, and they win the game. So they were this close to actually winning the game over in California, going across the country. That's huge for them. They didn't win it, but that's huge. If they can kind of build off of that performance, they might end a little better than people think. Okay? So there's your Friday games. Fun games to watch on Friday. We'll talk about the Friday games coming up this week. You'll hear it on Thursday. Friday games. Here's the thing about week games. Love them. Will not bet on them. Will not bet on them. I'm over. It's done. I'm not doing that anymore. Okay? Now, we had obviously Saturday was just a freaking great slate of games. Okay? A great slate of games. Now, we'll start with Georgia Tech and Duke. A lot of people, I think Duke was favored most of the week. I think maybe Georgia Tech ended up being favored right before the game. Duke was favored. Duke hung in there with them a long time. Georgia Tech looks very sluggish in the first half. Very sluggish. I mean, hard to watch sluggish. Second half they ended up pulling away, and it looked like they beat them way worse than they did. The game was close the whole time. They had a hard time getting things going. Now the good thing is they held Duke's offense. I mean, pretty good. I think they scored 17. I can't remember exactly what it was, but 18. Sorry, scored 18. So Georgia Tech's defense did pretty well. Offense, you would just think you would expect more from him. Haynes King and the running back Haynes. All right, you would expect to see more, but like talk about with Griffin and Dalton, they got the win. Okay, they won the game. Even when you don't look great, if you can still go and win the game, all right, that says something. All right, but Duke looked physical, and Haynes King in the fourth quarter missed a big play. He had a chance to go finish the game. This is before they scored the last couple of touchdowns late. Had a chance to go and put it away with a big long pass play, and he missed him by about 5 yards deep. So I still love Haynes King, and I love watching him play. They got to be a little more consistent early on, because if they're not, they're going to get behind somebody who they can't catch up with, and it's going to really hurt them. All right, I'm going to grab my pen here. Next game, we're going LSU and Vandy. LSU and Vandy. I picked Vandy to win. It's in Nashville, right? Diego Pavia and the boys. They were in control of the game the whole time. Brian Kelly, I'm sure, is under fire now. Under some fire. He had trouble with the bigger games. Now they go and beat Clemson week 1. They still are having some offensive troubles. They can't. Now they probably did better this week. They scored, more points than they've been scoring. They scored 24. Honestly, that might be the most they've scored, or the second most they've scored all year in a game. So, but they couldn't stop Vanderbilt enough. Vanderbilt had too much. They're running the ball, play action pass. Obviously the option game was there. I mean, they did a really good job. And obviously Diego Pavia is super fun to watch. And Vandy, you got to start respecting Vandy. They're ranked number 17, but they should have been ranked higher than that before. I mean, they're a really good football team. Lost to Alabama, ended up being by about 17, but was very close the whole game. I mean, Vanderbilt's the real deal. They're fun to watch. LSU, the offense still cannot get it done. And then this is the defense they thought would keep them in the game. Vanderbilt was able to do a lot of the stuff they wanted to do on LSU's defense. And so now LSU is 5-2 with 2 losses in the SEC. Man, now the SEC is going to beat up on each other, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get you an SEC championship game. LSU's now got to win out, and they got to have some help if they want to get in the playoff or anything. They got Texas A&M this weekend at home. Texas A&M this weekend. All right, Texas A&M, then go to Tuscaloosa, bye week, then Tuscaloosa, play Alabama, play Arkansas. No, not easy. Arkansas can score with anybody in the country, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Western Kentucky. Mixed feelings on Western Kentucky. It screwed me over. And then at Oklahoma. That's a tough way to end the season. So, I mean, they've got a tough stretch to end, and they need to win out to give themselves any chance to get in the playoff. All right, so next game, Arizona and Houston. Sheesh, man. So I've picked Arizona to win the last couple of weeks, and they've lost close games. Overtime game last week, BYU. Yesterday, Houston, game-winning field goal. Arizona went down by 14. They were down 28-14 right after the half. Houston went down and scored, made it 28-14. And I'll just go ahead and give you a little bit. I put it on a $5 parlay. $5. Put down $5. 8-legger. This is the first one. This is the game that was first on the list just because it was the earliest. And so I'm thinking, you know what? Let's get past this game, and who knows what can happen after that. Arizona goes down 14. And because Houston was favored, Arizona could have lost the game, but by 1. They could have lost it by 1, and I still would have been okay. Game in the field goal, lose by 3. Ruined the parlay. Now, I had a couple others late in the day, but it was looking pretty good without that Arizona-Houston game. Anyway, Arizona went down too much. Arizona's defense could not stop Houston. Houston was basically running the ball on them however they wanted, especially the last drive. Houston just went right down the field, got where they wanted, kicked the field goal, win the game. Noah Fafita, not Fatita, Fafita is a good player. They were just too inconsistent in the game. Started off a little too slow. They were with them early, We're down at half by 7. Houston scores, the game goes down by 14. It's just tough to come back for 14 points and then go win the game. Hold them at the end to go win the game. It's just tough. But good for Houston. Willie Fritz, they're rolling. They're 5 or 6-1 right now. 6-1. Big 12 is wide open, dude. Aaron lost to Texas Tech, and Texas Tech lost to Arizona State. Texas Tech lost to Arizona State. Who knows? Everybody, even me, before yesterday thought, hey, you know what? Texas Tech is the team in the Big 12 to beat. And now it may not seem that way. Arizona State has now said, wait a minute, we're back in this. They have a loss in the Big 12. I don't know Big 12, and I'll look at it in a second, who's kind of at the top. BYU's undefeated. Utah's got 2 losses in the Big 12 now. So it's wide open. It's wide open. Who's going to get hot late? Who's going to get in the Big 12 championship? There's no clear leader in the Big 12 anymore. That makes it interesting. That's just how it was last year. And now it's just the exact same way. So that sucks because I picked Arizona to win or lose by 1, and I lost. So, but a great game, though. Great game. Arizona comes back. Houston goes kick the field goal. Now, Texas Tech, Arizona State. That was in the night, or excuse me, the midday window, whatever. And Texas Tech is down 19-7. They score, make it 19-14. They score, make it 22-19. So they're up. And then kick it to Arizona State with like a minute and a half or whatever. Arizona State rolls right down the field. They got Sam Levitt back this week. They were right down the field, and they go score, and they win the game. Beat Texas Tech. Knock them off. Undefeated Texas Tech. That's one I want to go back and watch a little more. I didn't get to watch a ton of it. That's one I want to go back and watch a little bit more and see what the heck happened. Why was Texas Tech not as dominant as they've been the last every game this year up until this point? Good for Arizona State. Good for Dillingham. Good for Levitt. Good for the Jordan Tyson. Great job by them getting a big win there. Army Tulane. Close game the whole time. They were neck and neck the whole time. Super good game. You know that Army's going to give you a heck of a fight every week, no matter who they're playing. And Tulane's one of those top teams in the American League, American Conference. It's them. And we're going to talk about another one. Memphis has now dropped a game in the American. And guess who hasn't? Tulane has not dropped a game in the American. Their loss was against the Ole Miss Rebels. So they're undefeated in the American. Tulane's got UTSA. They're going to UTSA. Not this week, but the next one. Then at Memphis. That'll be the big one. At Memphis. Florida Atlantic. At Temple. Charlotte. So Memphis. UTSA is no joke either. Memphis is going to be the big one. They're going to be the big one. Who knows? It's wide open now. I thought Memphis was the clear winner in the American as of right now. Now it's not so clear. It's funny how you think some things all of a sudden one Saturday happens, stuff's out the window. That's what makes it fun, man. That's what makes it fun. But Army had a great plan. They're leading. Tulane goes to scores. Army gets the ball. They have a 3-and-out. Give it back to Tulane, and they go down and score quick. And Tulane wins the game. Scored a touchdown with less than a minute left. But Tulane's a great football team. Summerall, not saying he's going anywhere. He's going to be at least looked at. And I'll tell you one of the jobs I think he's going to be looked at for. This is a short game I'll talk about. Ohio State, Wisconsin, domination by the Buckeyes. Just quietly, boringly going through each week, just dominating. Games aren't super competitive or fun to watch or whatever, but they are just dominating everybody they play. Carnell Tate, everybody's eyes on Jeremiah Smith, the receiver Jeremiah Smith, who hit the scene last year as a freshman. Carnell Tate is going off. There were 2 times, because I was flipping between that one and some other ones. I had like 4 games on at one time. I looked over to Ohio State twice, and I'm seeing Carnell Tate dunk on dudes in the end zone, right? So they're really good. Their defense is really. They shut out Wisconsin, which Wisconsin's not great, but they beat Wisconsin like they should have. Okay, Ohio State, and you know what? I've been putting it off. It's like somebody else is better. Why wouldn't I just put them at number one? I mean, they're obviously number one now, but they've been number one the whole time. Why would I just? Why am I holding it off? I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about this one. UNLV at Boise State. We talk about Dan Mullen, the Cardiac Kids are undefeated. They find the craziest way to win every week. They didn't do that this week. They stayed close to Boise State. I've got, like I said, this is the same time as Ole Miss and Georgia play. So I've got about 4 screens on at one time. Multi-view, YouTube TV. And I'm saying, oh man, they're staying with them. And so the Ole Miss Georgia game's going. I'm watching them pretty intently. I swear it was like 10 minutes, and it was 56-24. I thought, gosh, dang it, man. What the heck's going on over there? Boise State's good. Boise State's a good football team. UNLV was not able to keep up with them later in the game. They were staying with them early. Losing 56-31. Sometimes you get down, you try to be the Cardiac Kids. Don't have enough time. Don't have the firepower. You can't do it. But UNLV is still going to be up the top of the Mountain West. I think Boise State is in a driver's seat. Okay, they're in the driver's seat. And they're traditionally very good. And guess what? They're still very good. They just ran into a buzzsaw called South Florida and ran into a buzzsaw called Notre Dame. And so when you run into those two teams, guess what? It's going to be tough to win. And how about running into a buzzsaw called South Florida? First game of the year, you don't even know what the heck they've got. You're going down to South Florida from Idaho? I mean, you're probably seeing mosquitoes bigger than you've ever seen ever in your life. Heat more than you've ever felt in your life. Humidity, you don't even know what humidity is up there. So anyway, Boise State's good. They're back on track a little bit. And they're in the lead in the Mountain West. Or at least in the driver's seat. All right? Ole Miss at Georgia. I don't know if I can do this. I might get trashed for it. I don't really care. But I'm changing my SEC championship pick. I'm changing it to Georgia, and I'll tell you exactly why. Yes, Alabama beat Georgia. And yes, Georgia didn't find a way to beat Alabama. But let me tell you something. If you watch Georgia, Kirby Smart, you watch Georgia's defense, look, through 3 quarters, Georgia could not stop Ole Miss. They could not stop Ole Miss. And Ole Miss couldn't stop Georgia. They didn't stop Georgia the whole game. I don't think Georgia had a driver that didn't score. Ole Miss, first 3 quarters, Trinidad Chambliss, down the field. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know if there was a stop the whole game until the 4th quarter on defense. And then it's like in 4th quarter, Georgia flipped the switch. Kirby and the Dogs flipped the switch. And Georgia stopped Ole Miss. They didn't score again in the 4th quarter. I don't know how they did it. But they did it. And that exactly is why I'm now thinking that Georgia is going to win the SEC. Who's going to beat them? I'm sure they have a tough schedule for the rest of the season. Let's see. They're off this weekend. They're off. And then they go to Jacksonville to play Florida. Okay? At Mississippi State, not easy. Versus Texas, not going to be super easy. Charlotte. And then Georgia Tech. That's not going to be an easy one. Last year they went to 8 overtimes. But I've got more trust. And we're going to talk about a trust meter. I'm going to start here. Trust meter. I'm going to have one made or something where we can give you a visual. It's going to be a trust meter. 0 on one side, 10 on the other. Georgia is a freaking 10. Doesn't matter if they start slow, because they did that 2 or 3 weeks in a row. Burn them against Alabama. Everybody else came back and won. They started much faster against Ole Miss. And won still. I mean, they can win in any way. They can win in any way. I have so much faith, so much trust in Georgia. They're at a 10. Well, let's go 9.5. I don't want to give them a 10. 9.5 trust meter. Okay? Gosh. I mean, you know, I'm thinking the whole time, Ole Miss is about to finish the game. And all of a sudden, the freaking switch flips. Flip switches. Whatever. Switch flips. They won the game. They're really good. All right. Fun, super fun game to watch. Fun game to watch, man. Awesome. Lane Kiffin, Kirby Smart used to coordinate together. A lot of fun. Now, Tennessee versus Alabama, the third Saturday in October in Tuscaloosa. Alabama goes right down and scores. Now, they hold Tennessee first drive. Alabama gets the ball. They go down and score. Now, the thing about Alabama that makes you, if you're an Alabama fan out there, and it should make you excited, is that drive was not just first down, second down, first down, first down, second down, first. They had a third down early in the drive, a third and medium to long, and they convert it. And they're on the 20, 30-yard line in their own territory, and they go and convert it. And then they drive down the field. Some teams, if in the first part of the game, if you get a third and medium to long, they can't handle it. They're going to go punt. But Ty Simpson, I mean, Alabama's got two running backs who are good. Jam Miller. What's the cat's name? Daniel Hill. Daniel Hill is like, I don't know. I don't even know. I was trying to find an analogy. The dude's like 6'4" or 5 or 6, 230. I don't know how tall he is. He's huge. And he's got tree trunks for freaking. I was looking at him on the TV, and his freaking thighs were literally like tree trunks. And he's a young kid. I think he's from Mississippi. They got Isaiah Horton, transfer from Miami, a dude. Ryan Williams is fine. Ryan Williams is back, folks. He's back. He's doing acrobatic things he does. He's making catches. He makes people miss. He's doing a great job. And Jeremy Bernard, I think they call him Unc. He's the old guy. He is about as trustworthy as it gets. Alabama on offense is scary. And they weren't perfect. That's the thing. They weren't perfect. But even when they're not perfect, they're scary. Alabama's defense might be scarier. I mean, those dudes are physical, and they are explosive, electric. They're going to go freaking hit you. And you know what's crazy? The first week of the year, they did not do that. Ever since then, they've just built on what they've done after week one. And it's impressive, man. It's impressive. They're doing a lot of great stuff, both sides of the ball. Ended up winning by, I think it's 17. Okay? Super good performance by Alabama. Tennessee, and I'll tell you what, probably put the nail in the coffin for Tennessee. They're going in to score right before half. There's like 6 seconds left in the half. And they go and throw, the old play action, throw the flat out to the fullback or tight end, whatever you want to call the guy. And the cat from Alabama undercuts it, and he takes it 100 yards. The running back for Tennessee has an angle. He gives him a little stutter. Running back stops, and he beats him to the end zone. That pretty much ended the game. I mean, it didn't because there's a whole half left. That made it, 21-7 or 21-7 or whatever. It made it a 2-score game. And, oh, man, it's just tough. That's tough. Tennessee ends up coming back, makes it a 1-score game. Alabama, at one point, gives them a safety. They get the ball back and go score. So that's like a 9-point turn, right? I mean, instead of having a 7-point, or I should say it's like a 9-point possession, because you get 2 and then you get 7 right after. I mean, it's like one possession. So Alabama, they look so much better, man. They look so much better than week one, and they're getting better every week. And I know what I just said about Georgia. I don't know if Alabama can do it again with Georgia. I got a lot of trust in Georgia. I got my trust meter in Georgia's 9.5. I think my trust meter in Alabama is about a 9. And they're right there with each other. But it's hard for me to not believe in Kirby. It just really is. USC at Notre Dame. Fun game to watch. I've got some notes here. The main one that I've got is early on in the game there were some drops by USC that really put them behind chains and allowed them to not convert some third downs early in the game. Therefore, they can't keep the drives going. Therefore, they can't score points on those drives. Now, USC kept it close until middle to late third quarter. And Notre Dame starts pulling away. They start leaning on them. Their run game starts getting on them. USC can't do a whole lot with it. So you got to give it to Notre Dame. Obviously, the better Notre Dame each week, you feel better and better about them. Here's the thing about Notre Dame. They knew once they lost those first two games to Miami and Texas A&M, about 4 points combined, they're going to have to go win out to get in the playoff. And they've done it so far. And the games they have left, there's not a whole lot of chance that Notre Dame's going to lose. Let me just take you through them real quick. They're off this week. November 1st, at Boston College. UConn took it to Boston College. Now, UConn's a good club. Boston College, not great. Navy. Last year, Navy was good. And the year before, Navy plays Notre Dame. And the big thing was, Navy, this is their chance to really, really make a name for themselves, to show they can compete on that high level. And they were trying to get a playoff spot. All right? Navy still is this year. Now, this is going to be in Annapolis. That's Navy's chance. That's going to be one of Notre Dame's toughest tests. But after Navy, they go to Pitt. Notre Dame goes to Pitt. And now Pitt is a different team with this new quarterback they've got playing. All right? That's going to be a big one. Then they play Syracuse at home, at Stanford. We know Stanford beat Florida State this weekend. Andrew Luck is trying to get them going as their GM or whatever the heck his title is. A pretty favorable schedule for the Fighting Irish for the rest of the year. 5 for their last 5 games. But they're rolling pretty good right now. They get a bye week to kind of heal up and kind of rest. Can they get in the playoff? If they have 2 losses at the end of the year, they're getting in my opinion, if they win out. And you know what that does? All it does is take away a spot from another conference. So these conferences, if you're kind of on the bubble of playoff or not, you better be hoping Notre Dame loses another game. Because they have no other ranked teams on the schedule. If they lose one, they'll be out. If they win them all, they're going to be in. Bubble teams be cheering against Notre Dame. If you're not already. Which you might be. A heartbreaker. I'm heartbroken. For maybe myself, but really for some of my dear friends. And family members who I love dearly, obviously. The Auburn Tigers. In the same way I talked about how Georgia, no matter what, finds a way to win, Auburn finds a way to lose. And I hate to say it that way. And people tell me that. People I'm close with tell me that. And I say, no, come on, man, stop. No. They're not that team. They don't find a way to lose every week. They're finding a way to lose every week. Every week. They're finding a way to lose. And I'm saying this low because I don't feel good about saying it. But I really want them to win some games. I do. I really do. Let's just look at their schedule. I'm scared to look at what they have left. They're 3-4 right now. Oh, they got to go to Arkansas. They're going to Fayetteville, playing at 12:45 on Saturday. Oh, I just don't like that one for them. Okay. Anyway, actually, Arkansas's defense is not very good. Maybe Auburn's offense can get something going. The scary thing is Arkansas's offense will score 50 if you let them. Then they play Kentucky at home. We just saw Kentucky. Kentucky is no joke. At Vandy. Oh, man. In Nash Vegas? Tough. Mercer. And then you got Alabama at home. Nick Saban says Jordan Hare is haunted because of some of the games he's played there. Been haunted good on his side and good away, on Auburn's side. So, anyway, I need to see Auburn in the bowl game. So that means, hey, we got to go beat Arkansas. We got to go freaking beat Arkansas. We'll talk about it more later in the week. We got to beat Arkansas. We got to beat Kentucky. Guess what? That gets you to 5 wins. All right? That gets you to 5. Vandy, that's going to be a tough game. I really like Vandy. I don't know if it's going to happen. Mercer, that makes 6, baby. That's 6 freaking wins. Now, it's an FCS win. Is it going to count for bowls? I don't know. But it gets you to 6. It looks better. And then Bama. Now it's in Jordan Hare. You just never freaking know. That's the problem, man. Auburn, I need you to freaking get in gear, man. Gosh darn it. Get in gear, Auburn. Let's go win some freaking games here. The state of Alabama's on their freaking back. Let's go. Moving on to another set of Tigers who are playing less than they should be. SMU at Clemson. SMU beats them. My man Connor Morgan, congrats. Connor Morgan, DPP over at SMU. He's a Mustang. Got the boys. Him personally has got the boys rolling there at SMU. All right. And they go beat the Clemson Tigers, Dabo Swinney and the fellas. Okay. Clemson's 3-4. They obviously don't have Cade Klubnik did not play in the game. Kevin Jennings, the quarterback at SMU, bum ankle, first drive, hurts it. He plays the whole game. Tough rascal. I know he's battling injuries. Every game I've watched him play, he's battling an injury. Training staff, let's get my man Jennings going, right? All right. SMU has lost to Baylor and TCU. So they have no losses in the ACC. They've lost to 2 Big 12 teams, the conference they should be in. So technically they should be 0-2 in conference, but they're in ACC. I'll stop right there. They go to Wake Forest this Saturday. No cupcake. Wake Forest has been playing pretty tough. Miami, that's the big one. They're playing Miami in Dallas. Can you beat Miami? All right. At Boston College, could be a trap game because you go Miami, at Boston College, bye week, Louisville. Louisville's tough. SMU does not have an easy schedule because they go Louisville, last game of the year, at Cal. They go to Cal, and we've seen Cal has been a pretty tough team up to this point. No world beater, but they're going to give you a freaking game. Man, that's going to be a fun schedule to watch. In Clemson, Dabo. I love Dabo Swinney, man. I really do. They got a bye week this week. Thank goodness. Gosh, give them a break. And then they play Duke at home. Not an easy game. Man, Duke's going to give them all they want. They really are. Manny Diaz. Florida State at home. Now that game I don't know where to go. Don't know where to go on that because I don't trust either of these teams. At Louisville, I'm not feeling good about that, boys. That's on a Friday night. That's a short week after Florida State. Oh, no. Got Furman at home. Furman in the FCS world has shown that they're not as good as I thought. Lost to Presbyterian early in the year, who is undefeated, by the way. Presbyterian, the Blue Hose. And then Furman just lost to Wofford this past Saturday. And Wofford is not the Wofford of old with Coach Wade Lang at the helm as the OC. Should have been the head coach. And then you got it at South Carolina. And that's a huge game anyway. You're in South Carolina. You're in Columbia. Lenore Sellers lost that game last year. Man, Clemson, come on. Why am I Tigers? Mizzou Tigers They're doing well. LSU Tigers, no. Auburn Tigers, no. Clemson Tigers, no. LSU's doing okay, not as good as they should be. What's up with my Tigers? And then let's move on to the next set of Tigers. I didn't plan this out this way on purpose. It just turned out the Tigers are following Tigers. UAB at Memphis Tigers. Okay, let's talk through that one, please. Memphis undefeated. It's in Birmingham, in the state of Alabama, boy. Memphis goes to UAB. UAB fired the head coach Trent Dilfer last week. The interim, Alex Mortensen, the son of the late Chris Mortensen, okay? And UAB has been basically non-existent. Let's just go through. They beat Alabama State. Alabama State is a good FCS football team. Have a quarterback who is elite. They beat them 52-42. Alabama State ran it up on them. They lose to Navy by 14. They beat Akron by 3. It's a good win. Akron's not good. At Tennessee, they lose by about 32. They lose to Army by 18. No. Yeah. 18. They lose to Florida Atlantic, FAU by 20. And then, fire Trent Dilfer, they beat Memphis by 7. Okay. Huge win for UAB. Huge win for UAB. It's awesome for them, dude. Awesome for Mortensen. Awesome for the state of Alabama. Boy, yeah, I might be a little biased to Alabama, but I'm not going to let it get too crazy, okay? All right. Now, Memphis has got to figure it out. Memphis has now got a loss in the American, and Tulane doesn't. Now, they play Tulane on November 7th. You know who else doesn't? Navy, the midshipmen. And they play Navy the last game of the year. That's going to be awesome on Thursday night. That's going to be awesome. That's Thanksgiving. That's Thanksgiving, dude. Man, that's a fun freaking game on Thanksgiving. They got a bye week before Navy on the short week, but it's really a long week for them. Man, that's going to be an awesome game. In Memphis, Navy goes to Memphis. Might be for the American Championship if Memphis takes care of business with Tulane. Man, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. Okay. Anyway, UAB gets the win. We're going to roll through a few here. Texas A&M and Arkansas. Where's the defense? Is it even there? That goes to show you Arkansas can score on anybody. Texas A&M has been dominant on defense for most of the teams they played, if not all. Arkansas scores 42 to lose 45-42. Arkansas kept answering. Didn't have enough time, but they couldn't stop Texas A&M either. That's the problem. Texas A&M stays undefeated. Beats an Arkansas team who's high-flying, can score a lot of points. Arkansas, they had a defense. Arkansas and Auburn are all kind of opposite. Auburn's opposite from Georgia in the fact that Georgia finds a way to win, Auburn finds a way to lose. Auburn and Arkansas are different in the way that Arkansas can score 100 points but gives up 100. Auburn can hold you to 17 but can only score by 10. What? Something's got to give, baby. Come on. Washington State at Virginia. Washington State has been basically non-existent this season too. Virginia has not been. They have been existent. Very existent. All right? And Washington State goes to Virginia and gives them the scare of the season, and Virginia barely beats them 22-20. All right? I'm going to look at the box score for everybody because everybody needs to see this. I need to make sure I'm telling you the right way. Washington State, Virginia. Yeah, boy, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Let me tell you this. It's 20-20. It's 20-20. And not only is it 20-20, Virginia had to come back. All right, so they're down by, what was that, 10. It's 20-10. They have to score. They score a touchdown, make it a 3-point game, kick a field goal with 2:57 left. They kick it off, to Washington State. They're pinned back inside their 5, had some troubles on the return, and then they gave them a safety, tackled them in the end zone for a safety, and that's how they win, 22-20. Unbelievable, unbelievable. So they had to fight, claw, and scratch for that one. But like we say, a win's a win. A win is a win. A win is a win. Texas at Kentucky. Kentucky's gonna be a tough out no matter what. Ennis is at Kentucky. Texas, the offense is still not there. It's still not. They went to overtime and kicked a field goal to win. I don't really. You just still expect to see more of Texas, but they're 5-2. I mean, they're 5-2. It's the same thing. I can't say it about anybody else. Not about them. They found a way to win. They found a freaking way to win, right? They found a way to win. I want to look at this real quick. All right. Arch, 12 for 27. 12 for 27 for 132. No touchdowns, but no picks. All right. Quintravion Wisner rushed for 37 yards. Oh, man. He's a freaking great player. I think the offensive line is pretty low there at Texas. Great for Kentucky. I mean, great for Kentucky, fighting all the way through. They're unfortunately 2-4. Texas, let's see what they got left, just so we all know. They go to Mississippi State this weekend. Oh, man. The trust meter for Texas and Mississippi State is low. They play Vanderbilt on November 1st in Austin. They go to Georgia. They have a bye week, and they go to Georgia on the 15th of November. I don't feel good about either three of those games. They play Arkansas at home. Oh. Arkansas is going to score. They're going to score points. And what can Texas not do? Score points, unless they show me something against Mississippi State or Vandy, or Georgia even. And then Texas A&M on the last game of the year on a Friday night, the day after Thanksgiving. This is going to be a fun weekend. Oh, man, it's going to be great. Anyway, what are they going to do? They're going to score. Here's one. I shout out my man Alex Howarth. Last week, Maryland, UCLA, going to LA. I'm getting pictures from my man Howarth of the Rose Bowl and all this good stuff. Great stuff. He's a video guy there. And Maryland goes over there and gets beat. And when he sent me some pictures, I said, hey, UCLA's on a roll, just kind of joking around. He said, yeah, don't remind me. So there was probably a little bit of nervousness about the game in the building just because of what they've been doing, which rightfully so. So this is 3 weeks in a row that Maryland loses games close. All right. So in the month of October, they lose to Washington 24-20 after being up 20-0. Lose to Nebraska 34-31 after being up, and lose to UCLA 20-17. And they were up in this game too. UCLA's flipped the switch, boys. They flipped the switch. And so now Maryland has a bye week, and they play Indiana. Oh, but they got them at home. At Rutgers, tough. At Illinois, tough. Michigan, tough. Michigan State. They have maybe the toughest remaining Big Ten schedule in the country. They might. They don't have Ohio State or Oregon, but they got Indiana. At Rutgers is going to be no cakewalk. At Illinois, no cakewalk. Michigan at home, no cakewalk. At Michigan State, no cakewalk. Sorry, Terps. I'm rooting for you. Howarth, I want you to know I'm rooting for you. We got to play some ball. We got to go finish some games, Maryland. We got to finish some games. And I think you can do it. You got to do it. Sad. Sad vibes for the Nittany Lions. Go to Iowa and lose 25-24. 25-24. Let James Franklin go. The struggle still. They still are there. And Iowa's a team that's not going to score a bunch of points. They're going to play pretty good defense. And they did just enough to win. Scored late in the game to win the game. 25-24. Man. Penn State. Who are you going to get as a head coach? I'm sure that's all they're worried about right now. Sorry. That's all the administration's worried about right now. Anyway, they don't care what goes on the rest of the year. Don't care. Penn State's now 3-4. That's 4 straight losses. 3 straight wins, 4 straight losses. Talk about it with Griffin and Dalton. They might not win another game. Bye week, Ohio State. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and not winning that. They go Ohio State, then Indiana 2 weeks in a row. At Michigan State, Nebraska, at Rutgers. They may not win another game. They may go 3-9. And I don't want them to, but they might. Okay, good for Iowa. I love Iowa. Man, it's just old school ball, you know what I'm saying? They're 5-2. They've lost to Iowa State, and they lost to Indiana by 5. By 5. Indiana's been bullying everybody else, and they hold them to 20 points. Now, Iowa, I'm going to have to take that back about what I said about the toughest Big Ten schedule. You have Minnesota, who's no joke, as we see this past weekend. By Oregon at home, at USC going to Southern Cal, Michigan State, at Nebraska. Oh, man, you know what? SEC's tough. Right below us, Big Ten's got some tough. I got some tough teams in there, too. Yeah, I just said it. I just said that. Utah, BYU. I'm thinking Utah's going to win the game. I thought it might even be pretty handily. I was wrong. BYU is too disciplined. BYU is too good. And they made the plays in the end of the game to win it. In the holy war. Utah, Utah is a Big 12 team that you always think is going to be in the mix. And they now have 2 conference losses. 2 conference losses. Texas Tech and now BYU. So, and let's see what they have left. Colorado at home. Cincinnati at home. Bye week at Baylor. Kansas State at home. At Kansas. You know? The thing is the trust meter is low on Utah. So none of these, to me, are given. None of these are given, right? And then not that they're not supposed to be, but I'm trying to help these teams out and say, hey, listen, I really feel good about these games. I just don't feel good about any of them. The trust meter's low for these teams, for some of them. And here, to maybe the worst one of all, or one of the saddest ones of all. How about that? After the start of the century, you go and beat Alabama at home in Tallahassee, dominate them basically, and now you are 3-4. I mean, people are thinking, hey, this team's going to go freaking make a playoff push. And now you're 3-4. You win the first 3 convincingly. Boom, boom, boom. Then you lose to Virginia, lose to Miami, lose to Pittsburgh, lose to Stanford. Virginia, Miami, Pittsburgh. Not easy games. Stanford is going to give you at least a little bit of a test, obviously. And Florida State didn't pass. So they're off. They got an off week, thankfully, for them. And they play Wake Forest November 1. Then they go to Clemson. We talked about that one already. Virginia Tech at home, at NC State, at Florida. Man, I just wish I could say, hey, man, look, I'm feeling good about this for you. But a trust meter's close to 1 for Florida State. And here's the thing. Thomas Castellanos last year was at Boston College. They started the year off. They are sprinting off the ball starting the year. Sprinting off the ball. Whatever happened with Castellanos, he was unhappy. I don't know what it was. He stopped playing for Boston College because he wanted to get in the portal. This year, he's not in the portal. He started the year great, but now it's just falling off. Is that what happened at Boston College? I don't know. Makes you think. Makes you wonder. Great for Stanford. Great for Andrew Luck. How can you not cheer for Andrew Luck? Come on, man. That voice, wow. It's crazy. All right. Now, Stanford, the rest of their schedule, they're 3-4 also. They're scratching and clawing to get back to 500 and get in a bowl game. Because Andrew Luck's trying to build this team from the ground up. You got to be smart to get to Stanford. They got to recruit a different kind of player. Run a triple option. But they're not going to do it. Anyway, they go to Miami this weekend. They got Pittsburgh at home. Then you got at UNC, Cal at home, Notre Dame. They may not get bowl eligible, but they're going to fight their freaking butts off. And that's how I know that about freaking Andrew Luck. Who are they going to hire at the end of the year? They have a coach in who's there for 1 year so they can get the team rolling and find who they want and hire somebody permanent. So that's another team who's looking for a coach. Now, speaking of coach hirings, let's go to coach firings. One game we didn't talk about, Mississippi State at Florida. Florida beats them. Close game. Mississippi State comes back, makes it close. Florida beats them, and they give Billy Napier the boot. That tells me they were already going to do it. I've been thinking about the best time to do it. Florida has a bye week next weekend. They did it before the bye week, so that way they would have some time to get everything set up. I don't know what Napier's buyout is. I don't know. These schools just have money galore. I've dropped my pen for a second time. That's how buyout money. The donors have a lot of money. The school may have some money. Schools don't have money. They get it from the donors. So they're buying him out. If I'm Napier, I'm chilling, baby. I'm chilling, dog. The kids say big chilling. I ain't worried about it. Bring me my money is all I'm saying. Bring me my money. I'll go find another spot. It doesn't have to be in the immediate. Go take a year or two off. Do the Dan Mullen version. Get fired from Florida. From Florida. Go on ESPN, like Griffin or Dalton talked about. He's in the classroom there with Matt Berry and Joey Galloway. Sound like a genius. I've heard Josh Payton sound like a genius. And you do. And then go get a job in a couple years. After you get a couple years to kind of take your breath and, be with the family, take a couple of vacations. You got the money to do it, babe. You got the money to do it, dog. Go take some vacays. Hang out with the wife and the kids. And then get another job that may not be as, where the administration is so crazy and want to just get you out, okay? And I'm not trying to be negative towards Florida. I'm not. Because there are more schools that are like that than just Florida. All right. And one more that I saw right before I started this thing. Colorado State, Jay Norvell has been fired. They lost to Hawaii. It was a good football team in the Mountain West. They lost to Hawaii, and they fired Jay Norvell. Any relation to Mike Norvell at Florida State? I don't know. I need to look that up. That'd be something good to look up. So you got two more that happened this weekend. Head coach firings. And I hate to see it. My man, Coach Chestnut, is there as a tight ends coach. I hate it for him more than anybody else. Because obviously I know him personally. It's just not a fun time. Now, he's going to get to coach probably the rest of the season. But then he's going to be looking for a job at the end of the year. It's not a fun time. Okay? So, there are two firings that have happened. Florida, Billy Napier. Colorado State, Jay Norvell. Who knows what's coming up after this, right? Who knows? It's Sunday. It's Sunday at 5:36 right now. Will there be anything else? I don't know. Okay. So, I'm sure there will be some more. Everybody's fire happy right now. All these administrations fire. If we're not winning the national championship by week 6, you're fired. Unbelievable. Some of these people don't know what's going on. Okay. Listen. Fun show. Fun episode, right? I'm going to finish it off with this. I mentioned the $5 parlay that I 8-legger. I 8-legged it. Okay? I 8-legged it. I'll tell you what I did. And maybe, if you want, I may let you know this before it happened, in the future. I don't know if you want to know. I didn't win it, so maybe you don't want to know because I'm a freaking idiot, whatever. But here's an 8-leg parlay. I missed 3 of the 8. So in reality, I got more than I missed. So there's something to be said there. Arizona, I picked in plus 1.5. They lost by 3. That was the first one of the day. And then, so then I knew I was out. But in the next 4, I hit Georgia Tech plus 2.5. James Madison plus 1.5. And they put up 63 on Old Dominion. Ohio State minus 25.5. 34-0. Mississippi State plus 9.5. They lost by, I think it was like 5, I believe. All right. And I picked USC plus 9.5. They lost by, what was that lost by? 10 maybe? Hold up. 10. Oh my gosh, I missed it by half a point. I didn't realize that until just now. All right. And then I picked the over for Alabama. It was 59.5 when I picked this. And they scored 57. And then I picked the under for the Auburn game, and that hit. So, listen, I was fairly close to, 2 points away on Arizona-Houston. Half a point away, or I should say 1 point away for the USC Notre Dame. And 3 points away for the Alabama over. That close, folks. That close. That was for $5. If that would have hit, that's $800 coming my way. Betting's fun, right? When you win. I didn't win. Anyway, so, listen, if you want to tap into the bets with me, I don't know how many I'll do, but if it's $5, I may just do one a week. Who knows? But anyway, hit me up if you want to know about the bets, right? We'll talk them through. I'd love to actually hit one of these and win, right? Okay, anyway, like I mentioned earlier, thank you so much for listening and watching. This is super fun for me. I hope it's fun for you to listen, maybe make fun of me, maybe learn something, maybe enjoy it. I don't know, but it's fun for me. And I appreciate you if you are watching, especially if you're rating, if you're subscribing on YouTube, rating on Spotify, following on Spotify, watching on TikTok, commenting on TikTok, commenting on YouTube. Do it all. Do it all. The more interaction we get, the better. So I appreciate you watching and listening and putting up with my garbage, because it can be garbage, I understand, but it's fun as it freaking gets. So thank you. Later in the week, we'll get the Max back on here, the expert analysis from the boys. All right. Oh, we may start sprinkling in some new guests. Who knows? We'll see. Right? We'll talk about the AP poll, and then we'll talk about the Jake poll, right? Immunity. And then we'll obviously go through some of the most exciting games of the week. We got games on Tuesday. We got them on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We got them all. All right. So we're going to hit all that stuff. We'll talk about the coach firings, I'm sure. Billy Napier, Jay Norville, maybe another one. I don't know. I have no idea. But we'll talk about all that good stuff. We went 2.5 hours last week. And so if you're one of the boys, or if you're a chick even, I don't care. If you really want to dive in and check in with the boys, stick around the whole 2.5 hours. I'm not saying it's going to be 2.5 hours this time, but last time it was 2.5 hours. Who knows how long it's going to be this time? When there's a lot of games to talk about, lots of stuff to talk about, we're just going to talk about it. And if it goes 2.5, if it goes 5, we're going to go that freaking many hours. Okay? Immunity. Because we freaking love it, and it's a lot of fun. Okay? Now, also, we do the pick 'em with every game this week. We'll go tally them up, and we'll see who wins this week. And we'll even talk about it on the episode on Wednesday. All right? And Juke wants to make sure that you can hear him. And you've heard him probably some throughout the episode. So there you go. It's my boy Juke. I'll get him on camera one of these days. He's laying down. He's comfy. I'll let him stay there now. But listen, follow, rate, subscribe, comment. Let's interact. If it keeps going, we'll get some merch going. We get maybe a T-shirt, maybe a hoodie, maybe a hat, right? And listen, it's not going to be any rinky-dink garbage. I'm going to make sure it's good. If we get to that point, it's going to be some stuff you're going to want to wear. Because I'm going to want to wear it, okay? So, anyway, thank you so much. This is Pad Level, all right? I'm Jake McKenzie. We're going to talk about all the good stuff and maybe some of the bad stuff of college football. Twice a week, maybe in the future, maybe more, okay? So, tune in. Basically every Monday morning, every Thursday morning-ish, That episode's a little longer, may take a little longer to upload, whatever. Monday, Thursday. Be locked in with us. Come in, tap in, lock in with us. That's what we did, lock in with us right there. And we'll get this stuff done, man. I appreciate it. God bless you all. I love you. we'll be back later in the week with another great episode. This is Pad Level. Thanks for joining. Have a great week.